right. My name is Peter Kaplowski. Welcome to the Toronto International Film Festival. This is Midnight Madness! To begin, I would like to remind everyone that tonight's event is taking place on the treaty territory of the Mississaugas of New Credit and the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee, the Anishinaabe, and the Huron-Wendat. We are grateful for the opportunity to work within this community. And of course, like the other 9 films in the Midnight Madness section, this film is eligible for the People's Choice Award, sponsored by Gross, the Midnight Madness People's Choice Award. You can vote at tiff.net/vote. I hope people are voting. This is a really great award. One of the 10 films will take it home. And of course, we would like to thank XYZ Films for providing us with this film. So give it up to XYZ. I also want to say this is the part of Midnight that I am so excited about, because we are really discovering new talents. On Monday, who was here for The Wind? We discovered the great Emma Tammy. I can't wait to see her next film and the next. And tonight we're discovering another exciting new voice in genre filmmaking and filmmaking flat out, period. The incredible Henry Dunham. Let's meet him.
Is this? Yeah. Hi. God, I don't know. I'm going to keep it brief. Thank you very much for everybody coming out. This is an insane honor and lucky beyond belief. And I blacked out halfway through walking here, so all of this is just completely unreliable. But I hope you guys like it. And thank you for coming.
Thank you. And I will say, there are many shades to Midnight. There's some that boil and some that simmer and some that get inside your skin and make you begin to freak out and get paranoid and even black out as you walk across the stage. This is that kind of movie. Get ready for the standoff at Sparrow Creek! I'd like to welcome back to the stage writer-director Henry Dunham. Here he is. And with him, James Badgedale, Brian Garrity, Robert Arameo, Gene Jones, Happy Anderson, and producers Dallas Saunier and Amanda Preswick.
So damn good.
Mr. Happy.
Henry.
Hi. Let me do a handshake with Happy. I left him hanging.
So,
Hi.
my understanding is that the script, when you first wrote the script, you titled it Militia and no one would touch it.
That's accurate, yeah. Yeah, that's accurate.
So how did you get people to touch it? What was the, how did you get this movie made?
Well, we changed the title a number of times, but it really was just coming down to talking with everybody involved, whether it was the actors, the producers, or anybody, just knowing that this was actually just a very simple, human, universal conflict story that takes place in a group you would otherwise not have a lot of access to. And it's sort of taking an empathetic, emotional point of view and putting it in people you kind of judge from the outside. And having that contrast play out was just more cinematic and sort of a more interesting reversal to me than dramatizing a stereotype as a stereotype.
And what sort of inspired you to tackle the subject matter in particular?
It just all starts with the protagonist and thinking about a character who is just hell-bent on being alone, realizing that they might have to go back to something like a group, even if it's one that's hurting them. Just because human connection is such a powerful force and you need it so bad that you might end up being a part of something that you don't even really want to, just because it's better than being by yourself.
I'd love to hear from the cast in terms of what their feelings were when confronted with the script and these characters.
Sir?
Okay, it's my turn. All right. Henry wrote a really tight script, and I think we all just showed up, and we showed up with a lot of freedom and a lot of willingness to work and go in different directions and trust his vision. You know, at the same time, like, we also want to have a lot of fun, and you know.
Was there room for spontaneity in the production in terms of, or was it? It seems like such a, like as you said, tight screenplay that's so precise and decisive, which is, I feel like it's something that definitely appealed to me as a viewer. But as an actor, was that something that really excited you too? Like you just couldn't wait to sink your teeth into these lines, in this dialogue?
Yeah, there's a lot of dialogue, man. There's a lot of meat to dip into, man, and like what we had to discover is that Henry has a very specific stylistic point of view of what we're trying to do. And our playground, instead of using all these actor tricks that we all have, where we go this way and we go that way, we go this way, suddenly your trick is here. And you better have range right here. And you have to learn how to expand on that, you know, and then like, I work with a pack of ninjas, man. These guys are awesome, man. I love these guys to death, so I'm
Was it chronological? Did you? Because the other thing that is so clear is that from scene one to the end, the tension is mounting on the cast. Like everyone, the pressure is beginning to pile on, and so I wonder how do you organize and manage that pressure as a director, and then also as a cast to remember at what state am I supposed to be in terms of how anxious and how nervous I feel.
Well, the sort of gift and a curse of it taking what felt like a while, but in the movie industry is light speed at getting it made in 3 years, was it gave me time to do prep. And since we were so indie and so low budget, you know, we didn't have money for a storyboard artist or previs, so I just drew the movie first. And so it's 5 books of about 300 pages of storyboards, making sure that I know where every single visual is going to be. And so there's no really room left to not discover, because that's great too on set, but you don't want to get to set on a movie like this and wing it. You want to get there and paint by numbers, as boring as it may be. So having that ahead of time was also really helpful, because these guys were coming on board for a first-time director for pretty touchy subject matter, and you want to show them that you thought about these things ahead of time, and that you're not kind of just winging it with stuff that deserves a delicate touch.
Were there any big questions from the cast at any point in terms of where you were taking the characters or the story?
Why they couldn't move more was a big thing. I was like, let's just get you right there, and because I'm going to be right here and everything like that. But no, I mean, it was, like Badge said, it was really lucky that we had a crew of guys where it would just be, you know, Jackson was my friend and my great DP. I could trust him that we would go, okay, here's where it feels right, here's what we're gonna do, and while he's lighting, we go outside for about 5 minutes, and I'm like, I think it's like this, and Badge would be like, what if we do it like that? And I'd be like, all right, great. We went back inside, and we had, you know, a lot of this, you're looking at 1 to 2 takes max, because we just didn't have time. And so again, it's a testament to the actors to just be there, and they were so on point that I could go like, all right, I pretty much got it after 1, and if we go to 3, that just means I want options in the cut. So yes and no, kind of, to answer your question.
Editorially, did things change much at all?
No.
You just are a man with a plan.
I mean, no, it was funny. My editor, Josh, and I became, as you do, you get really close because we're just spending so much time together. And we had a cut of the movie, I think 10 days into the edit. Like we had a full like 100-minute cut that was okay. And it was like we were watching it, and I was just like, well, if we don't like it, there are so few takes per setup, like we're kind of fucked. So it was good just having so much great raw material that I could kind of sculpt from and operate from all right, let's get the broad strokes down first so the emotional through line is there and the story is set, so that then our remaining time we can just spend on kind of digging into the minutia and finding, you know, the right blink out of Badge for things, or the right, you know, gesture from Happy that felt like, okay, that's where he's at, because it's a movie visually where it magnifies the small stuff. Like when someone is trying to, I've found, and I always think, when I watch somebody who's being truthful and they're trying to withhold something, they don't indicate, they try not to. And so we would find these little moments of these guys where it was just like, it was there in a gesture. And that was really lucky, just having us, my editor and I having a great relationship and being on the same page. So again, we just worked really fast. Like, we wrapped 5.5 months ago. Wow. Like, shooting. And yeah, it was lucky. It was just a great team.
I should mention it's Josh. The Josh you're referring to is a Midnight Madness alumni.
He
was here with Almost Human in the Mind's Eye.
Yes. Round of applause.
Do we have questions from the audience? Yes, right there.
Yeah, so question for Amanda, as far as producing this. How difficult was this to,
Well, in a lot of ways, it was really a pleasure, which you don't get to say all the time as a producer. Dallas
Sorry,
and I,
hang on 1 second. The question was simply, how difficult was this kind of movie to produce?
Yeah, so a lot of it was really a pleasure, working alongside Dallas is wonderful. You don't always get a director who walks in with a 300-page tome knowing exactly what they want to do. That's a real blessing. And shooting in Dallas, Texas is really a treat. It's where we made this movie, and people there really have their arms wide open to making movies. And so, we got our warehouses in a way and at a budget that you wouldn't anywhere else. So that was great. The team was wonderful, and we almost wrapped every day at 12 hours or less, which is insane as well. And that's a testament to Henry, to the actors, and to our first AD, to Jackson. It was really a treat.
Was it all one location, or did you stitch some together?
2 and change. There's one warehouse that was the interior with all of the lumber, and then one warehouse that was the exterior with all of the loading bay doors, and then Gannon's trailer out in that field.
Other questions? Other question? Yes, right there. The question was regarding the interrogation tactics and the militia tactics. What kind of research did you do in sort of assembling and laying out those tactics?
Well, the short answer is no. I think it's really important when you're telling a story like this. The main thing is simplicity and cinematic. And to keep it simple, where it's something like these people being on lockdown, looking at this radio thing, that is an untraceable form of technology just because it's so almost old school now. And those things can be kind of honed in on. But truthfully, my job is to always be what is the most simple, emotionally powerful way for the audience to follow along versus sort of drowning them in minutia and fact-checking. Because it just felt like, all right, we can make a documentary about this, or we can make it entertaining and fast. And I'm always going to go for the latter.
Speaking to the cast, were there any times that you guys felt you wanted to do that research, or did you do any research on your own for your characters at all, in terms of police tactics or how you felt? I mean, was there gun?
Let me wait. Sorry, just to go back to that point. The police interview interrogation techniques, that was researched heavily. I mean, there's a lot of great books on interrogation tactics and how it's all about not proving the person did it, but getting them to come to your side and want to be a team together, and getting that to be more of a almost friendship between two people. And we talked so much about it, about there's these buy signs when somebody's moving, like when Badge and Morris are going off, there's all these kind of subtle buy signs that indicates a person is ready to come to your side. They're ready to join you and take the deal, so to speak. And then when Rob and Badge went to, toe-to-toe, because Rob's character sort of challenges him on more of an intellectual than a physical level, I gave Rob this book that I was really into. And he showed up to set with that book and had read it and highlighted it and underscored everything way more than I had, and was coming up to me with the script and was like, actually, on page 26, you did this wrong. I actually would do this way. And I was like, I respect that. Okay, cool. And so Rob actually found tactics where I was just like, fuck, this is a guy, he gets the character because he's doing it in real life. And so, yeah. Yeah.
I just need to say this. My interrogation coach on this film was Robert Aramayo. He taught me everything I know.
Yes, right there. The question was, this, considering there are so few takes at times, was there a rehearsal period? What was the process like, take by take?
You want me to take this one, guys? We again, it's kind of a two-pronged answer, which is we shot in such a small amount of time, but we still were able to get, I think, 2 days of table reads and one-on-ones and talking about the scenes, which is not common even for a big movie. Sometimes you just show up on set and it's like, here's your lines, there's your mark. And these guys were all in on it ahead of time. That was just a huge gift to me because I got to talk about scenes with the actors and make sure that everybody was clear on intention, and if somebody had a better move, I would just be like, okay, it's kind of a meritocracy, like whatever is best for the movie wins. And there wasn't one actor who didn't come to me with something and just go, this can be better if we sort of massage this beat or this intention or this movement. And I think that was just, again, testament to Dallas and Amanda for even giving it to me. It's not common, but to have that table read in that rehearsal time, even if 48 hours that's a luxury.
Do you remember something significant? Was there a big, any things that kind of changed the course of the production from those table reads?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Man with the plan.
No,
All
I
right.
mean, I'm not being
Yeah.
flippant about it. It was just there. It was doing the heavy lifting, kind of on the script, freeze everybody up to go, okay, what's fun in the minutia of the character versus having to, restructure somebody who didn't do their homework, being me.
Right there, and we got one more after that.
Just wondering, was there anything that you did to ensure that you were the one that ended up directing it? Because I know it was in the blacklist in 2015.
The question was whether or not, when Henry wrote the script, was there anything he did to ensure that he would direct the film? Because the film was on the blacklist, and sometimes those scripts get picked up, but the writer doesn't come with it.
Yeah, I think my intention had always been to write and direct it. And I know that isn't enough most of the time, but I had done a short that had done really well that was sort of similar, almost like a narrative cousin of this, where it was very warehouse-based, it's very dialogue-driven, it's basically like a stage play. And having that background kind of gave me the completely unearned confidence to go into these meetings and just be like, no, I'm directing it. And they would just be like, who are you? And I was like, I'm Henry. And they're like, we don't care. Why are you saying this so confidently? And I was like, don't know, just doing it. And that I don't know, I've heard it a number of times where it's really just being like, no, I'm gonna do this, and then sort of following up on it and doing your work. I hope that answered your question. Okay.
One more question if someone has it, and I have one if no one does. Yes, right there. Sorry. Let's do both, because you guys are very enthusiastic.
I just want to thank character actors. As a viewer, I just want to thank all of you for making it, for number one, not a 4-hour movie. A movie that you didn't want to end. A convincing role by Badge as an interrogator. I almost want to jump up and say I did it myself. Gene, your voice is like an elixir. I mean, I have problems sleeping at night, and I'm not saying this in a boring way, but if I could hear your voice for 2 hours a night, I could probably sleep more than 4 hours. So thank you, and just a nice job.
And do you have a question beside that first? Very great comments, though. Very great comments. But do you have a question? Yeah. Excellent. It's okay. Keating.
Keating.
The question's about writing specifically that one monologue.
Well, I only try and work on stuff that freaks me out and scares me. And a lot of that is just being like, okay, I have been in lonely places in my life, and at those points I tried to justify it. And I was like, okay, if that's what this character would be thinking, he'd be thinking of every positive way that you can turn this to make it sort of self-righteous in a way. But that's not enough. The turn comes when he starts to say, but it's a complete lie. It's just pretentious and no one gives a shit. And at the end of the day, you are just someone who has vanished. And forcing the character, first and foremost, to go, the most painful truth sometimes is admitting our own. And his at that point is saying, I left, but no one gives a shit. No one cares. And that was something that I talked to Badge a lot about, where we were just like, this is me being honest on the page about things that freak me out, and him being willing to go there kind of with me, so to speak. As far as how long it took, I mean, I wrote the first draft of this 7 years ago. Granted, it was a very different script, but this version, I don't know, that probably took 2 months to write. Yeah.
Thank you. Put your hands together for the standoff at Sparrow Creek. Remember to vote for the film at tiff.net/vote. And we will see you tomorrow night for Peter Strickland's In Fabric.